Hi guys, I'm here with Flavio Parenti, who
Yes.
you may know from Willy Allen film recently. So you've made a transition from film star to developer.
Yes.
Now, for a lot of people, that's a very strange transition to make. So, are you a gamer?
Oh yes, I am. I have been all my life. I grew up with video games from the Commodore 64 till the PlayStation 4. I loved adventure games. That's basically the best, the most fun of it. I had them with the Monkey Island series or all the LucasArts and Sierra games. I always wanted to be a developer. I started studying informatic engineering. Then I started my acting career and left informatic engineering. And then I went back to the video game industry from a storytelling point of view. So I'm not a developer. I'm not coding anything. I'm just following the art direction and the design. But we're co-designing the game. I'm co-designing it with a developer. And it's a weird transition, but actually it's not that weird. Even Alfonso Cuarón is developing a live 3D movie for the Oculus. So there is the movie industry is moving toward virtual reality too. I think there's going to be a really interesting merging of arts in virtual reality. It's going to be very interesting.
So it's almost as if actors will be the pioneers of the virtual reality movement.
Why not? Why not? I mean, actors and directors. So people that come from maybe storytelling, pure storytelling, that will try to understand how does video game works. And adventure games are probably the most suitable games to try this thing, because apart from the puzzle, the real life puzzle you have to solve, it's a lot about being in a story, in music and acting, and a humanistic point of view of the video game, which is...
So introducing your game, what was the game called? And it's an adventure game, obviously.
Yes, it's an adventure game. It's called Loading Human, and basically you are a writer that has a memory disease, so it's forgetting everything. And when you play, you will understand that your wife, who is a Nobel Prize a genius, she invented a way of transferring your mind into a robot to save what's left of your mind. So basically, you start the game that you are already transferred, or you are being in the process of being transferred. And you will discover that your wife has transferred herself too before you, because to transfer your mind, you will have to relive all your memories. And as soon as you completed the memory, it's going to go into the robot. But you have a problem, you don't remember everything. So your wife, she transferred herself in the robot to fill in the gaps. So you'll be using your wife too. It's going to be a dual game between you and Michelle, and you will understand how things went up, because you don't remember, and you will see it's not all that clear. And
so it sounds a bit, got a bit of Eternal Sunshine and Spotless
Yes.
Mind. Also sounds like a bit of Memento as well.
Memento and Strange Days, because basically you're going to be in different bodies too, and different minds. In the game, you hear the character thoughts. So if you take a picture, let's say, he's going to watch the picture and say, oh yeah, I remember I took this picture when I was 5. But if you're another character and take the picture, you will have another point of view of this picture. You will hear another thought of this picture. And during the adventure, they're soulmates. They really love each other. Those two soulmates, they're going to merge into the robot, which is, when you transfer yourself, you cannot go back. So basically, it's a one-way travel, a one-way trip. And the more you go into the game, and the more you will have this the lack of difference between you and your wife. You're going to be two souls in one body, let's say. That's our goal.
It's like a romantic version of Ghost in the Shell or something
exactly.
like that. Animes like that.
Yes.
So obviously this is an adventure game. It's been using the Razer Hydra
Yes.
and the Oculus Rift, and using the Hydra with the Rift is obviously incredibly immersive.
Yes.
Is the Hydra perfect, for virtual reality experiences?
It's not perfect, but it's the best we have. It can be much better. It's going to be wireless, and maybe other trackers could be added. But I believe we have to keep it simple, even if it's for virtual reality. I think the Hydra or the stem or those controllers are the evolution of the gamepad for virtual reality. So it doesn't require you to walk on a treadmill. You can play it by being sit down on a couch if you want to. It's better to play in stand up, but you can play it on a couch. And but you have the thumbsticks, so you actually move your character around the world with the thumbsticks. So not by walking, but you have this perception of of the space, of the objects around you, which is so important in virtual reality. If you have a gamepad, your hands are locked to a remote control. In virtual reality, you are the remote control. You really need to move yourself in the world. It's I think that what makes the difference in the gameplay experience.
And it's an experience that has minimal mechanical input. I mean, this is not an action game. You're not picking up guns. You're not firing.
No.
You know, these are things like the Chinese room, developers like that, Amnesia. You're picking things up. You're moving objects around. You're manipulating the world.
Yes.
And is that something you've chosen because that's the limits of virtual reality, or was that a creative decision?
For me, it was a creative decision. I really love stories and love, let's say, slow-paced and real-life problem solving. I think it's one of the beauty of video games. So you don't have to kill anyone. You just have to get to the story and get in touch with emotions. That's what I really loved about my experience as a player. So I wanted to reproduce what I loved with new technologies.
And what kind of games, do you love? Where is this coming from? What kind of game background?
Well, from let's say I've been playing from when I was a kid. So the adventures, Monkey Island 1, 2, 3, LucasArts, the Sierra games, and Discworld, The Dig. The Dig was an amazing adventure, and then Quantic Dreams or Telltale Games. I think they did a really good advance on the game design of adventure games. I loved Alan Wake. I really liked it.
Oh, yeah,
I think it was nice. Yes. So all the stories that have a deep storytelling and maybe high concepts too. So they try to talk about things that are deeper than killing someone and survive. So yeah, the latest game Mass Effect. I loved Mass Effect trilogy. I really loved it. But this was like Mass Effect is huge. I mean, you have everything. You have an FPS, you have the adventure, you have the RPG. But I loved the story about Mass Effect. I got emotional on Mass Effect. I really wanted to go through the story and see what happens. And this is what I love about video games, because it reminds me of the movie industry, but it's something that is way more personal.
Yeah.
It's your story and you're playing it.
So, this is our story. Is this, are you writing this yourself, or?
There's a screenwriter. There's a screenwriter who comes from the movie industry.
Of course.
But the problem is that you need to get a screenwriter to interact with a game designer, because it's an adventure game. So you need, the rules of the game design. So it's very interesting because we're actually joining forces that come from different worlds, and everyone is trying to take side of his world. So of course, screenwriters is saying, no, the story has to go this way, and the design say, no, we can't, because we need we need a puzzle.
So how do they get on? Is it like a clash of minds, or is it like a creative clash, a good kind of conflict?
It's a really good kind of conflict. I mean, many things it's like a plant. It's very organic. The creative path of Loading Human is very organic. We're still figuring it out. Because we're discovering things. I mean, from my point of view, I discover things talking with a designer, and the designers discover things talking to a writer, someone who just goes to the emotions and the acting and the characters. So it's very creative, and that's the best part of it.
So good. I mean, it is the most immersive experience that I've certainly had on the Oculus Rift, using the Hydra as well. And you're talking about it's a high concept. This is obviously an indie development game.
Yes.
I mean, are you going to ever go through a publisher? I mean, is this going to market? Is that something you're worried about?
It is going to go to market. It will go to market when the Oculus will be ready for the mass market. We are developing. We are looking for publishers. We are in contact with Oculus, which is developing many things now. It's growing really fast. The Oculus VR is growing really fast. We're in touch even with Sixth Sense, of course, for the stems. And it's beautiful. Virtual reality world now is amazing because it's a wave of creativity. We're trying all the tech demos. We're in contact with. We contacted Cloudhead Games, which they're doing the gallery, which is another virtual reality plus motion controller game, which is very interesting. So we're trying to figure it out, how things are moving, and they're moving really fast. Every day there's a news, and so it's all about being on a boat in the tempest and trying to go to the horizon, get to the point, and
But,
we'll see.
you know, what did you see that made you want to like, get on that boat? I mean, obviously you're an actor, you're reading a script, and then you turn and see the TV, and maybe there's an advert on for virtual reality. When did you try it?
So I've always had that thing for virtual reality, because in the 90s there was this virtual reality wave. I don't know if you recall, but it didn't work out because the computer weren't powerful enough. So I always had that dream of like, oh, I'd love to do virtual reality. And movies, a lot of movies talked about virtual reality. So we grew up with that kind of dream. Then I watched a movie on YouTube, a YouTube video of this grandmother trying the Oculus. I mean, everyone saw it, you know, the one that she puts on the, and she said, ah, and she starts screaming, and said, wow, hold on, that might be something. So I ordered the dev kit. I tried it. I got nausea after 5 minutes, but I said, wow, this is an amazing experience. I mean, the first time you try it, it's amazing. The roller coaster, if you try something that gives you the sense of height, can you say height? Yeah. And I was completely amazed by it. So I said, you know what? I want to do something about it. I want to do an adventure game. So then I contacted a developer company, which is Fufa Studios. They're an Italian developer company, and together we joined and we created Untold Games, which is a developer company that has mixed arts in it. You know, there's playwriting, there's direction, and there is.
So it's sort of a transmedia organization.
Yes. There are some amazing possibilities with virtual reality, even on the transmedia. Let's say you create a game like this one where there's a book, okay, and you use this book a lot of time. How amazing would it be? Then you can buy the real book after, which is the book you used. I mean, you tried it. You really have a feeling of things. You know how big things are. So I think there's going to be some very interesting cross-media thing.
Yeah, you said it was built like to scale.
Yes.
I mean, most games are shrunk down or blown up, and this is to scale. So like you said, a meter is a meter.
A meter is a meter.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. So when you look at a game, usually things are scaled out, textures don't look right. But when you're holding something in the game, and you hold it to your face, it's as if you were holding it in real life.
Yes.
So if you made a model of this microphone in the game, it would be the same size. So you know.
What about 3D printing? You know, there are some very amazing, and not even for the video game industry. I mean, travel. If you want to tourism, handicapped people, you know, you want them to go underwater, they can. I mean, they're not going, but they don't even need to use their hands. And there is the real estate. I'm pretty sure it's going to be big because you can actually try the houses without going.
Living it for a week with the.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a holiday to a house.
Exactly. Or museums, you know, that would be interesting.
Museum would be interesting.
There is a lot of potential.
So the future of Untold Games is not necessarily just in games.
Not necessarily.
So you've planted the seed and now you're sort of growing organically.
Yes, we'll see where we go. But games is our main passion. I mean, it's a passion. It's a real passion. We love video games. We love gaming. So basically, we love having the experience of playing this game first. You know, like for me, it's a bit of an. I love to try this game and to have some kind of. I can choose where does the game goes, and this is for me. It's as a gamer, it's amazing.
Okay, brilliant. So thank you very much, Flavio.
Thank you.
Thanks. Very